It's your boy L-Slack, and you're watching The Vulgar Uplander. We are live on the road, trying something a little bit different. You know, it's been kind of a slow week. I've been waiting for stuff to kind of pop off. Let me move this up here. And there just hasn't been a lot. And I was going to do a pre-recorded video because there was something that kind of got on my nerves this morning, and so I was just going to do something pre-recorded, but then I decided, maybe I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll just go live. I'm on my last trip to Tillamook for, my regular schedule, so this will be my last long drive. But so regardless, so we're gonna talk about Swarley a little bit, and regardless if it was Swarley or somebody else, this issue would still bug me. And I'm sure that this has happened on more than one occasion, or at least things of the same vein has happened like this on more than one occasion that I'm about to talk about. And it just so happens that, Swarley's the guy, and so it was brought to my attention, and I have a platform. And this is something a while back. And before I start, look, I'm not looking to throw shade at anybody, right? But I do want to highlight something that is, I feel, problematic in the community as a whole, And when I say community, I'm talking about the users, the developers, the moderators, everybody, right? The community just isn't like one-sided, it's everybody. So when I mention community, I'm not talking, just the end user. I'm talking about everybody. So this is problematic, and I've heard this. Other people have come to me about issues they've had with getting banned or getting silenced or things like that. And a few months ago, X1 had put out a post about free speech, and basically how great it was. And this isn't about X1 at all, but he had mentioned that, and so I had made what I thought was kind of like an innocent kind of truth jab a little bit. I basically just said, well, I can't wait till Upland adopts this philosophy or something along those lines. It was a bit of a jab, but it was kind of in jest as well. And X1, responded with, we do, and we had a little bit of a back and forth, a little bit, very short, just kind of explaining, that's not always the case, and, sometimes you can't say the things you want to say, even if you say it respectfully, and, I feel like sometimes, and this has happened to me one time, people have been quick to jump to like a ban. Like I almost got banned or silenced or whatever for doing something that I wasn't even really aware of, and I should have been, but there was like almost little to no warning. It was like, hey, do that again, you're banned. I'm like, whoa, man, my bad. All you had to do is say, hey, man, that's not okay. And then another time, there was just a misunderstanding in which a moderator was kind of getting on my case about some shit. And I was like, this doesn't need to, I was basically like, this doesn't need to be like this. Like, I'm trying to do something good, and you're actively trying to silence me, and not even like with a kind spirit, really. It was just like, hey, man, fuck off. Like, get out of here. Stop doing that. I'm like, all right, man, it's like, you could ask nicely, whatever. That was just an experience I had, but that, it just, sometimes it mirrors some other experiences that other people have had, which I haven't loved hearing about. Let's see here. So I'm going to highlight something that happened this morning. So Swarley wakes up and realizes that he got mint number 3 of the new Block Explorer that came out, and 100 Sparklet. Now, I can't remember for the life of me how much Sparklet you're supposed to get for winning the competition, but mind you, on the executive and chief executive level, he was number 1. He won arguably the hardest tier, right? And from what I recall, in most cases, it's not a random drop, like the winner gets number 1, right? And generally, from my experience, from what I can recall, now I haven't looked through the line down every single one, but I very well could, and maybe some of you have. Let me see if no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, there's the chat. The chat wasn't popping up. Anyway, so I don't have the history on that, for fact, but that's not nearly as important as what I'm going to talk about. Anyway, so the argument is the executive gets mint number 1 if you win that, then the director would get mint number 2 if you're the winner of that, and then the pro and Uplander status, I think, gets number 3, and then so on down the line, right? That's generally the way I understand it, right? And especially with these competitions, having it random is against, I believe, the spirit of the competition, because you want to win, you want to kick ass, because now that these Block Explorers carry weight, the lower the mint number, the more points you get for them in your collector score challenge. It wouldn't make sense to have it be random, because why would anybody care to fight for them when all you gotta do is get in top 11, right? Or get top 25, sorry, because it's completely random. So I think that argument right there is BS, that is completely random. I don't think it is, and it hasn't been for a while, right? So the argument is, hey, on Swarley's end, hey, I won the executive, and I got mint number 3. You gave mint number 1 to the pro. Okay? Whatever. That part may be neither here nor there, right? Other than the argument I just made, but we'll put that to the side for a second. So he mentions this in, let me go to Discord. Not that. Let me go to Discord. And let me go all the way back here, because I did have this all, and then now it's not where I left it. He mentions that's not the case. It's the moderator, or I think it's, I'll just find it real quick. Let me go in here. Come on. Okay, it's right. So, and you can go look at this in general in Upland yourself, and you can be the judge of this. But from my perspective, and not even that Swarley's a buddy of mine, would I necessarily take issue with this, but he is a buddy of mine, so naturally I have some stronger feelings. But if this was happening to anybody, I would love to have this brought to my attention. I would love to speak on it, because what I've noticed is that this is the thin skin that I've talked about a couple times, and the other people have talked about with Upland. Not like when we have a grievance against Upland, you gotta walk on thin ice, because if you don't, you will get banned or silenced or whatever. Maybe not 100% across the board, and not with everybody, but I'm gonna use this one example as the example, right? And when you have one person speaking for your organization, it's easy to assume that everybody is aligned with that. And I'm not saying that is the case, but it could be. And when you see this time after time, you generally get that sense and that feeling. So right here, Swarley mentions, this is a joke, April Fool's Day. I got 100 Sparklet, it wasn't a typo. Mint number 3 for winning the Executive Plus group. Sorry, Upland. This is pathetic. Okay, that's an opinion, right? Frustration, that's fair. You got number 3. I would be frustrated as well if I worked that hard to get number 3 when you're thinking you're going to get number 1, because generally that's how it's going. Okay, and that's the point of fighting for these competitions, because you want that lower mint number, because it improves your collector score not only for the season but all the time. So that's an important takeaway from this. And then you mentioned, given that the winner of the directors group got number 2, it's fair to assume that the winner of the pro group got the first mint. If this is the case and Upland doesn't make it right, he's done, right? Okay, yeah, be absolutely super frustrated. You can see it right there. Was it Squall Muzza? Jumps in. Now, I want to note that Swarley didn't highlight anybody, didn't tag anybody. You know, clearly was in the Upland general chat, so that's, you know, whatever. You're going to draw attention from some people. Squall says they're randomized drops, as with everything in competitions like this. Okay? Swarley respectfully says that simply is not true, or that is simply not true. And again, you can follow along in general if you'd like. You can read ahead, all that stuff. And then Squall kind of, you know, makes a jab back, I feel, a little bit. It simply is. There are very rare occasions where they're in the leaderboard order, but that is extremely rare. In fact, I think we dropped doing that. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that is something that is kind of integral to the process of competing for these. Again, why would you not compete for number 1 if you're looking to increase your collector score? Having it randomized does not. I mean, getting a collection property, which that is a whole different subject. I'm not going to get into right now for this yet. Is not entirely accurate. So yeah, I think it is a piece that you are doing. You are having these not randomized. Maybe you missed the memo. I don't know. Again, it's not personal, but I feel like this is inaccurate information. Let's see here. So then, sorry, some of the chat stuff is clogging my view. He responds to somebody else. Swarley says, "You are wrong." You know, and then Swarley makes a jab here. Fine. Nothing inappropriate, I would say. I would say nothing offensive or vulgar, like myself. Just simply saying, you were wrong. Not a big surprise, as community managers are often not on the same page, which has been seen on more than one occasion. So this is not a false statement, even though I'm sure Upland would not like to admit this. Take it from someone who regularly competes. Swarley's in the game every single day, and has even self-admitted this is like his full-time job at the moment. So he's in it all the time. It's normally in order, and it appears you have put it in an order starting from the top pro, director, executive, repeat, row 2, and so on, and that it's not random. And there's proof to this, which I will see if I can find here in a little bit. And then he gets told from Squall to kindly remain respectful. Again, I'm not quite sure what was disrespectful in that, other than providing, you know, and I'm going to be objective a little bit, even though I'm biased, but even so, Swarley, in my opinion, provided what he felt were facts, based on what you can see from the players who got the awards, right? It is in order. In that, just like he says, it is in order, right? So he's providing factual information from what he's gathered from the data that he's collected. right? And it hasn't cussed anybody, hasn't called anybody names, just said this is not true, right? You were wrong. Just saying you were wrong, which is not inappropriate. It is not disrespectful to say you were wrong. Now, if you say, hey, you're a fucking idiot, that would be disrespectful to say you were wrong. He's being told to kindly remain respectful. I've never known it to be in order, only to be randomized each time. That's standard practice for our competitions. Okay, whatever. That's the information that he feels like he has, right? I don't think that is the facts. I don't believe that to be true. Swarley then responds, I am being respectful. It's you calling me a liar. And to be fair, liar was never stated until this point, right? But you could make the assumption that by him saying, nope, that's not the case at all, we randomized it, you can make the assumption or the leap that, yeah, you are calling Swarley a liar. Or at the very least, simply that you are wrong, right? I am being respectful. It's you calling me a liar. That is not being respectful. If you guys actually played the game, you would know I'm right. If you even remotely had a clue of how much time and effort I put into winning this comp, you would understand, or you would know why I'm mad right now, which is fair. If you look at the Upland accounts, now maybe they have a completely separate account that they're doing. I'm sure they do have stuff they're doing stuff on, but it's not in the community. It's not, you're not in the weeds, so to speak. You're not fighting for these competitions. You don't have to. That's not your job. That's what we do as players. Upland does not do that. So Suarez just pointing out a fact that, yeah, you guys don't really you don't play the game the same way we play the game, right? You're making the game, you're doing all those things, but you're not actually playing this game. You're not fighting to win competitions. You're not doing any of that. You're not checking these leaderboards on the regular, like we are, like breaking them down because we're trying to figure out how the fuck to win these things, right? With sometimes limited and scattered information at times. Sometimes it's not. Point out the point where I told you what we do as a standard for competitions. Kindly calm down. Now, it's hard. Look, anybody who's ever dealt anything with text understands that tone cannot be accurately portrayed through text, right? Swarley could be calm as a cucumber. He could be fucking fired up. He could be screaming at the top of his lungs, right? You can tell that he's frustrated, but you don't know at what level. I wouldn't even read that as like freaking out yet, right? Now, maybe I know Swarley and he might be freaking out, right? But that's neither here nor there. You cannot assume tone through text. That's unfair. And again, hasn't said anything super disrespectful, or even necessarily wrong. Hasn't called any names, hasn't cussed, hasn't done anything like that. I told you what we do as a standard for competitions. Kindly calm down, take a breath, maybe step back from the keyboard for a minute before you get timed out for being too heated. Now, you're making, Squall, an assumption that somebody is too heated, simply for calling you out for being wrong or being misinformed in a conversation that you did not have to jump into. Now, granted, Swarley is calling out Upland in the server. You are connected with Upland, so sure, you can respond. But before you respond, I would kindly ask that you do your research as well, right? This is not coming out of left field. This is not information that Swarley's throwing out that is just coming out of his ass. He's just like making shit up as he goes, right? This is based on evidence, okay? So, let's see here. For about a year, maybe longer, it has been the case that the winner got mint number 1, and so Swarley wins. then apparently it's random. Only it's not random. Right? That it's because of him. That's it is what it is. Not saying anything. Again, there's an assumption on this side as well, but that's okay, right? It does look suspect, right? That like, okay, all of a sudden it has gone this one way, or at least it seems that way, and now you're saying it's random when it's clearly not. You're giving mint number one to the pro, which is arguably not the right approach. And it's clearly not, because you can see it going in order, and I'll show that here in a little bit. Need that to go away. And then see for a day to relax a little. So that's okay. So that's where this ends for me, because at that point. So I'm looking at that. Okay, we'll read this in a little bit. I look at that and I see somebody who's trying to plead their case, like, hey, I think you've done me dirty, right? One, hasn't cussed, hasn't done any name calling, has simply said you're wrong, has made some assumptions about the way that Upland has done business, just as well as Squall has made assumptions about the tone that Swarley has, right? I think that's fair. You're allowed to make an assumption he hasn't said anything or done anything disrespectful, but to get silenced for that, when in fact Swarley is right, is fucking bullshit. And this is what I'm talking about when we say that Upland has thin skin, because rather than just disengaging, and I'm talking about Squall, right? He doesn't have any reason necessary to jump in other than to, say his piece. He could very easily say, well, as far as I'm concerned, if it's been random, that's the case. And Swarley's going to say, no, it's not. Go check. It looks like it's going in order. All he would have to do is go look and see it. He's like, okay, take 2 seconds. Squall, you could step away from the keyboard for a second. Check yourself. Go check the leaderboard like Swarley's done. Go see that, yes, it is going in order from pro to director to executive plus. It is going in order and right down the line, right? I got number 17, which lines up perfectly with where I was at in the leaderboard. Laban got number 33, which lines up perfectly where he was in the leaderboard. Go look for yourself. You can tell, you can count it out exactly how it goes, and every single person from left to right has the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It goes in order, okay? That is not random at all. To Swarley's point, it's not random. You're saying it's random. That in and of itself is frustrating, and then you get silenced for being right because you have the power is bullshit. And this is that thin skin, again, the thin skin, the silencing, the lack of free speech that someone can have. You should be able to have discourse in Upland, in the server. You should be able to disagree with somebody from Upland in a respectful manner without getting silenced. The fact that he was silenced because he was right. And again, let me see if I can find it. I may have to go through, I don't know where I have that at. It's in Discord, I believe. Anyway, I don't want to share all my Discord chat, so I'm not going to do that actually. But I will, we can post it. Anyway, you can see for yourself, it's in order. Go look at the leaderboard, count it down. Look at where I'm at. I got number 17. It will show up in my assets. You'll see it. Go down the list, left to right, till you get to me, number 17, on the money, right? Picasso got number 2. Swarley got number 3. It's lined up perfectly. It's in order. It's not random. and he got silenced for being right. Upland, take notice of this, okay? This is what we're talking about. I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm not saying everybody in Upland does this. I'm not saying, or on the Upland team does this. I'm not saying that at all. But when it happens to one, it feels like it happens to all, right? When one person does it in your leadership group, it looks like everybody does this in your leadership group. When you pour poison in the well, it looks like everybody's getting poisoned, right? You gotta look at your weakest link. And I'm not saying Squall is your weakest link. I'm not saying that at all. But look where the misinformation's coming from. And when people get pissed off about the things that they're trying to advocate for, and they get silenced because of leadership not doing their due diligence, not being informed, not even taking the time themselves to step away from the keyboard like he asked Swarley to do, to take a break, and do 5 minutes worth of digging, 5 minutes worth of digging into something that he does not clearly know what he's speaking on, to say, oh shit, my bad, you're right. Let me look into that. That's all it would take. Let me look into that. Even if you did nothing more, even if you did nothing more other than just say, you know what, looks like you're right. Let me look into that, and nothing ever comes of it, right? You don't have to go straight to fucking banning somebody. You don't have to go straight to silencing somebody for 24 hours because they were right, when all you gotta do is do your fucking research and see that you're wrong. Okay, and again, I'm not talking to Upland all the way through and through, right? In this instance, I'm talking about Squall. And I know this has happened with other people, and I don't know exactly the person they've interacted with, but I've heard stories about how Upland has banned them or silenced them. And I've talked to moderators who tried to ban and silence me for things that I accidentally did, and I was like, oh shit, my bad, I'm sorry. I won't do this. And it's like, yeah, do it again, and we're gonna fucking ban you. Like, whoa, dude, I'm telling you right now, I won't do it again. I'm sorry, I just don't understand. It helped me understand, right? I'm like already saying I'm done. I won't push any further, right? I'm saying I'm done, I'm not gonna push any further, but help me understand how I can avoid this in the future and why this is a problem. And I'm being told to basically stop, you know, this behavior, you know, gets people banned, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, all right, man, like, I'm really just trying to figure out avoid this in the future and like why this is a big deal, right? I just want more information. It's just frustrating. I just want Upland to see this, and here's an example of where it does get frustrating. Upland, go look at the leaderboard. Go look and see where the drops land as far as the block explorers. Okay, whether you guys go from Uplander gets number 1 or Pro gets number 1 this competition, next competition, the executives get number 1, whatever, you know, whatever. That's your call. Just be consistent with that, or at least communicate that in some kind of way. Because when we come out and we say things that we believe are true, and then we come to find out that it is true, and you're telling us that we're not right, it fucking sucks. It feels shitty. And you should feel bad, Upland, for kind of shitting on people who are right. And in this instance, shit on for being right. And that sucks. That sucks bad. And again, just take note of that. That's what I wanted to bring up in this video was, yeah, it's Swarley this time, and he's a buddy of mine. And so, yeah, I want to bring attention to that. But I know this is not the first, I know this isn't the last, and I know it's not the only time that something like this has happened. Maybe not this exact thing, but other times where people bring up concerns. Maybe sometimes people do deserve to get banned and silenced at times because maybe they are too heated, or maybe they say something fucked up, but I can guarantee that's not always the case. And in this case, he didn't deserve to get silenced or banned, right? Simply disengage, Squall. Right? You don't have to be the judge, jury, and executioner just because you can. When you're in an argument and you're proven wrong, and you're not willing to own that, and instead you're going to levy your power to ban somebody for 24 hours simply because they disagree with you, and you can't take the time to understand where they're coming from is bullshit. That is not that we should be looking for, that you should be, Upland should be condoning in the community. If you're gonna have community leaders, right, or moderators or whatever, that have that power, there should be at least a little bit of care and concern to hear people out who disagree with them. And not even in a disrespectful way. If Swarley would have been like, you fucking idiot, you're a fucking liar, right? And making it really shitty and super personal, yeah, I would be like, Swarley, dude, you gotta chill out. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I haven't told Swarley before, like, bro, man, you're real fucking high. You gotta calm down, homie, right? He gets passionate about shit. I don't blame him, right? When shit like this happens, I would get fucking pissed off too. I'm pissed off for him. It didn't even happen to me, right? But this is an injustice that I see, somebody flexing their muscles that shouldn't be flexing, when there should be a little bit more care and concern, and do a little bit of research, do a little bit of due diligence before just fucking banning somebody. That's all I'm trying to say. It's bullshit, okay? Upland, please check that, please. It's not all of you. In this case, it's just Squall. Maybe he's having a bad day. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, you know, whatever. I don't know. It could be something else going on. I'm not saying Squall is a bad person, but in this instance, he was out of pocket, right? And I would love to be able to read the chat, but I can't. It's coming and going too quickly. So if you guys are saying something impactful, I wish I could read it, but I can't. But I'll probably watch and check the stuff later. Anyway, I'll stop beating that dead horse. Hey, Sparklet Wars, second round. I'm gonna go until I lose service, I guess. Season 2, I'm not gonna read that. I'll wait for tomorrow when we do Upland After Dark. So, yeah, that's all I got. That's all I wanted to touch on for now. Swarley, I'm sorry that happened to you, bro. Upland, you got to be better than that. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Upland, you suck. I'm not saying you're a bad company. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying in this instance, you got to look at that behavior and you got to do better. You got to ask your people to be a little bit better than that, because you can't just silence people when they're right and you don't agree with it, right? You gotta have a higher expectation for some of your people. That's all I'm asking. Okay. Anyway, I actually am probably gonna lose service here soon. I gotta figure out how to stop this thing. Is it this button? What's this do? Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna drink this coffee before it gets cold, and I'm gonna lose service here soon. But yeah, check Upland After Dark tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Pacific time, 12 Eastern time. Check those leaderboards. You know, I can get some receipts for you if you'd like. Happy to show them. Just let me know. I'll post them somewhere. Maybe we'll post them in the fucking. Actually, I'll take a screenshot and I'll post it in the general chat, and we'll see if I get banned too. But it'll be a little bit before I do that, because I'm driving and I can't. I'll have to wait until I get to work. But yeah, that's all I got. Check us out. If you got some properties on the Vulgar Speedway, I know that I've hooked up a couple people with a few. So get to building, get those layer 2 properties going, submit them. If you got a good flip, submit that for flip of the week. You could win something. Yeah, let's get after it. But like I said, until tomorrow, I will bid you adieu. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, so I'll check you guys later. I hope you have a great day. You know, check my work, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm okay with it. I won't silence you if I am. We'll have some simple discourse, and then you know, we can agree to disagree at the very most. So, all right, guys. Hope all is well. Take it easy. Have a great day, and I'll check you later. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, check you later. So, as soon as I figure out how to turn this off, I will. piece. What does this button do? What does this button do? What does